Coming up next on the Pod Wheels Network, you'll hear the Highway to Hope, the official podcast of the St. Christopher Truckers Relief Fund. This edition of the Highway to Hope is dedicated to health and wellness, and you'll be hearing about the Going the Distance Challenge, a new program from SCF. Here's a preview.
How can we increase and improve our overall health and well-being by adding things to our day? Like, we would never leave the house without brushing our teeth. So why don't we add little bits of bursts of movement throughout the day? So by the end of the day, it all adds up. You could have 20, 30 minutes of extra movement in. And then if you do go to the gym or you do go for a walk, that's bonus. I've seen hundreds and hundreds of lives transform by this type of application rather than this black or white, either I'm going to exercise or I'm not. So I'm super excited to be a part of this challenge.
Welcome back to the Highway to Hope, the official podcast of the St. Christopher Truckers Relief Fund. Thanks for connecting with us again here on the Pod Wheels Network. The SCF Highway to Hope podcast is dedicated to placing a spotlight on the important work being done every week of the year by the St. Christopher Truckers Relief Fund. During the month of July, the Highway to Hope will be featuring 2 podcast episodes highlighting SCF's work in the area of health and wellness. In this edition of the podcast, we'll be talking with SCF's wellness manager, Julie Dillon, and other members of the team that SCF has put together to develop the new Going the Distance Challenge program, which begins on July 27th. Hope Zavara and Kim McDonald will also be joining Julie as guests on this edition of the podcast. Hope is the co-founder of Mother Trucker Yoga, and Kim serves as the Senior Marketing Content and Community Manager for Road Pro and its family of brands. Road Pro is a sponsor of SCF's Going the Distance Challenge. SCF Director of Philanthropy and Development, Shannon Currier, will once again serve as your host for the Highway to Hope. Shannon is joined on the podcast by Greg Thompson, the executive producer of the Pod Wheels Network. Everyone on today's podcast was connected through Zoom audio. And as you'll hear from the start, Shannon and Greg are rolling out the details on SCF's health and wellness mission and talking about the new Going the Distance Challenge with Julie Dillon. Now let's take it to Greg Thompson to get things started on this edition of the SCF Highway to Hope podcast.
Hello everybody, Greg Thompson from the Pod Wheels Network, back with you on the SCF Highway to Hope podcast. We're dedicating July to health and wellness. I'm joined once again by Shannon Currier from SCF. And health and wellness, Shannon, that is a big part of the mission of SCF.
It is. Welcome back, everybody. For those of you that might not know, a quick overview of what SCF does. We are a 501c3 nonprofit. We work strictly with truck drivers. We are able to support over-the-road and regional drivers when they have to come off of the road because of an injury or illness. How we support those drivers is we can step in and pay necessity household expenses, including rent or mortgage, utility bills, insurance payments, and vehicle payments. Another important part of what we do is encouraging and helping support a healthier driver populations. Our financial support of drivers is one piece of what we do. The second part of what we do is health and wellness. So that's what we want to focus on this month. We're going to have 2 podcasts this month, and we're going to be talking with Julie Dillon, who is the SCF Wellness Manager, and she's going to be sharing with us what SCF's health and wellness mission looks like.
And Shannon, as you know, Julie is right here at the top of the podcast with us.
Julie, tell us how health and wellness got started with SCF and kind of what our overall mission is as far as health and wellness of the driver population.
Thanks, Shannon. I am happy to do that. Driven to be Healthy is our mission slogan for all our health initiative programs that we offer at St. Christopher Fund. The reason that we have chosen to put these health initiatives into place is, as you know, each week we see applications from drivers that have anything ranging from minor illnesses and injuries to life-threatening problems that make them have to have financial assistance. If you're not working and you're unable to provide for your families, then everyone suffers. And we felt like that we could offer some things that on the preventative side that would be beneficial in helping these drivers get back out on the road or stay on the road and never have to come off the road, which is our goal. We want drivers to get healthier on the front end so that they don't have to come to us when they're in dire straits and have no other place to turn. We're glad that we're here for them and we can be here for them. But if we can offer something on the front end to help them with that, then that's what we want to do. With that, we have created a couple of different programs that are currently in place, and then we are getting ready to offer a new health program that I'm excited to talk about today.
Julie, if you don't mind, can you give us a bit of history on SCF's health and wellness initiatives?
The first thing that we started offering several years ago is our vaccine program. And we have flu and shingles and pneumonia vaccines that we offer to truck drivers that have a valid CDL. Currently, you can still get the shingles and the pneumonia vaccine. They're available on our website. Flu vaccines will come out again in September. Since the inception of the vaccine program, we've given out 648 flu vaccines, 202 shingles vaccine vouchers, and 105 pneumonia vouchers. Hopefully, with those, we've seen some things where people aren't getting some of those hard things. You get pneumonia, you can be out for several weeks, and when the wheels aren't turning, we aren't making any money. Hopefully, we've been able to help in that way. The second health initiative that we have is our Rigs Without Six program. We started this in September of 2017. Since we started, we've had over 500 people register, and of those 500 or so that have registered, we've seen 105 drivers quit smoking. So that's about 20% of the people that have registered have quit smoking. And if you look at the statistics throughout the country as far as your general smoking programs, the statistics aren't that high. I feel like we've been able to really come alongside some drivers and help them to become tobacco free. It's not just smoking. It could be smokeless tobacco, whether it be dipping or chewing, even vaping. We've had some people that have joined for that too. To see over 100 people quit, and then we've had 90 that have cut back their usage by at least half. And we've had some good results with that. So we're really excited that we've been able to offer that to drivers. But then we have our new challenge that we are starting at the end of July, and it is called the Driven to Be Healthy Going the Distance Challenge. And I have lots to say about that, so I'm excited to get into that today.
Well, Julie, before we get into the details of the challenge, I want to thank you for giving us an overview of everything that SCF is doing on the wellness side. And Shannon, one of the points that Julie brought up, and we've talked about it before on the podcast, is so important, and it's a big part of your mission, and that's being preventative. You guys want to get folks who are out on the road to be as healthy as they possibly can be. And this is a big part of your mission. Sometimes when folks are looking at SCF, they're looking at the financial assistance side of it, which is a hugely important part of your mission. But when you think about it, the preventative side can be equally as important.
It is. It's just as important. And Julie and I have talked about this and really joked about it before, because there's no way to make it happen. But we would love to almost work ourselves out of a job. We would love to see drivers that are so healthy that they don't need us. But we know that's not actually how it works, because we know there are some things that can't be prevented. We know there are injuries that occur that can't be prevented. We also see the value in the health and wellness side of what we do. This is Julie's passion. She's been in school for this. She's been increasing knowledge for this, gaining some expertise in this area. She's very well trained, very knowledgeable in this area. So we're excited that Julie has really grown this program and is moving forward on what we're able to offer drivers. Julie, we're excited about this Driven to Be Healthy Going the Distance challenge. We've had these other challenges in the past, but really our focus now is not just short term. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint. What is the thought process, Julie, behind this new Going the Distance challenge? Tell us a little bit about that, where it's going, who we're partnering with. Give us the goods on it.
When I first started thinking about having a new challenge for St. Christopher Fund, I was basing it on the 5 elements of survival. Those are water, air, food, sleep, and shelter. A lot of drivers, their shelter is their truck. And so we thought, what can they do in their truck or outside of their truck? We're choosing to substitute exercise in place of shelter for those 5 elements of survival. As I was thinking about it, I thought, who would be the perfect person to partner with for this? Who has knowledge and experience and enthusiasm? I could think of no one better than my friend Hope Savara with Mother Trucker Yoga. If you know Hope, you know she is fabulous at what she does, and she is energetic, and she's a motivator. And so we are partnering with Hope for her movement and expertise in yoga. She's just a fantastic person. And so I talked with Hope and asked her if she would be willing to partner with us on this challenge and bring her knowledge to the table. She and I have been working closely together for the past several weeks on what this challenge is going to look like. I'm excited to have Hope on board with us.
Hope is with us right now on the SCF podcast. Hope, can you tell us a little bit about what you're bringing to the table with the challenge?
Absolutely. Thank you, Julie, for that really kind introduction. I'm really excited to be a part of this challenge for a couple of reasons. Fitness and wellness has been a passion of mine for pretty much my entire life. I have a yoga and functional movement background, and what that means is I really look at how it is that we can increase our health and well-being, not just by saying, woohoo, I exercised for 20 minutes. Now I'm not going to do anything all day. But instead, how can we insert more movement into our day? How can we increase and improve our overall health and well-being by adding things to our day? Like, we would never leave the house without brushing our teeth. So why don't we add little bits of bursts of movement throughout the day? So by the end of the day, it all adds up. You could have 20, 30 minutes of extra movement in, and then if you do go to the gym or you do go for a walk, that's bonus. I've seen hundreds and hundreds of lives transform by this type of application rather than this black or white, either I'm going to exercise or I'm not. So I'm super excited to be a part of this challenge.
What you do, Hope, makes, in my mind, perfect sense for truck drivers because they are sitting for many, many hours during the day. So if they can find ways to get those short bursts into their day, then they're going to see better circulation, better joint movement, that kind of thing. And so it makes perfect sense to me to have you partner with Julie on this for this challenge, not only on the nutrition side and what Julie has to bring to the table, and then also on the movement side. I'm happy to see this collaboration. I can't wait to see where this challenge goes.
Likewise, thank you. I think one of the biggest things that drivers can remember is that health is not just taking on a specific diet, or health is not just saying that you've gone to the gym every day. Health is really an encompassing way to look at our entire being. And that's why I just absolutely love this idea of the 5 elements of health, or the 5 elements of how to be a healthier person, because it's not just saying, okay, I'm going to take this diet and then all of my health problems are going to go away. Or if I go to the gym for 20 minutes or an hour a few times a week, then I'm healthy. This is really about those small, consistent changes that you adapt to your life for your entire life. And if you can do that, imagine how much better you're going to feel.
Exactly. I think it's a good collaboration. We are excited at SCF. Julie, tell us, who is this health challenge for? Who can participate? Why should they participate? What's going to be expected?
This challenge is for any driver out there that wants to know the basics of getting healthy. We are offering simple changes, simple things that you can do in your daily routine, like Hope was saying, to be able to make some positive long-term health style changes. The challenge is actually broken up into 2 parts. It's a completion challenge. That's what makes this one so much different, is it's a completion challenge. There aren't just 1 or 2 winners. If you complete the first part of the challenge, which is a 5-day challenge, there are some prizes out there that you'll receive. After that's over, anyone that wants to participate that has completed the 5-day challenge, if you want to go on and complete the 1-month challenge, then we offer things for that as well. And we can go into more detail about that if you'd like. Everyone who completes that 30-day challenge also will have larger prizes. With those prizes, one of the things that we have talked about is that we want them to feel like this is worth it to them. They're getting healthy, which is obviously the most important thing, but they're also going to get something at the end too. And that is why that we asked GrowPro to come on board with us for this health challenge, because they have been instrumental in us being so successful with our Rigs Without Cigs program. They offer a lot of the prizes that are offered in that program as well. So it just made sense to bring them on with us and ask them if they wanted to partner with this health challenge too.
So Julie, on this health challenge, you talked about this particular challenge being simple changes. Tell me, is this for the beginner? Is this for the driver that's like, okay, I don't really do anything. I don't have a plan. I don't know what to do. I don't know where to start. Is this for that driver, or is this for the driver that kind of already has a plan? Tell me who needs to be involved in this.
This is definitely for that driver who is in the beginning stages or the mid stages of becoming healthy. They may have some knowledge, but they want to grow in that knowledge, or they may have no knowledge of how to get healthy, and we're going to teach them how to get started and to give them a foundation that they can lay and then build upon as they grow in their knowledge of how to have a healthier lifestyle. If someone has already adopted a healthy lifestyle and they're doing all the things that you're supposed to be doing, such as exercising, you're eating, and you're on a specific health plan already that's working for you, then stick with what you're doing. You don't need to come on board with us. I mean, you're welcome to. We are happy to have anyone on board with this challenge, but it's really designed for that beginner person or that person who's just in the mid stages or needs a revamp, needs an overhaul, and wants to grow more in their knowledge of being healthy.
So building the foundation is very important. I know for me personally, have a good foundation to build on is important. So I'm excited that that's where this program is going to start. It's also very important to have people partner with us that can help support and offer incentives along the way that are going to be valuable to the program that we have going on. Julie, tell us about Road Pro and what they're doing to support us.
Road Pro is coming on board with our Going the Distance Health Challenge to offer some fantastic prizes to drivers that have completed the health challenge. They're offering things that will help them on their trucks. They can use them at home. We are so glad that they are continuing to support our health mission like they have been. Like I had said earlier, they are extremely instrumental in the success of our Rigs Without Cigs program. So it just makes sense to reach out to them to be a part of our next health initiative.
Shannon, we spent the last couple of moments talking about Road Pro, and I know we have a guest from Road Pro. Can you introduce and welcome her to the podcast?
Absolutely. We're excited to welcome Miss Kim McDonald. She is the Senior Marketing, Content, and Community Manager for Road Pro Family of Brands. She has been instrumental in supporting our health and wellness programs, as well as anything else that we have going on. So we are excited to welcome Kim to the podcast. And Kim, tell us how you've been involved with St. Christopher Fund for the last several years. You're now, of course, on our board. Why is it important for you to support what SCF does?
When we were approached a few years ago and we spoke about the Rigs Without Cigs program, Road Pro in general, it's just not about selling stuff. It's more or less about the health and wellness of the driver and the safety of the driver, and then creating products around that keep them safe, comfortable, and connected while on the go. So this was a program and an organization with SCF that speaks to the heart of who we are. We do have a stewardship heart. Our owner is very much involved in the community and giving back, and we felt what more perfect way is to partner with St. Christopher and help with this health and wellness challenge and continue to support them in their efforts, because what they're doing and what Julie has been creating and doing and bringing hope on to help the drivers is so instrumental. And we know we got to keep these guys and gals out there healthy. So this has been a great opportunity and we're happy to support it.
So Julie, tell us the different steps of the program. You mentioned a week-long initial start and then a month-long start. Tell us how Road Pro is going to step in and offer those incentives along the way. And Kim, if you have any specifics of what you're going to offer, we'd love to hear about those specific products as well.
We do have a two-part challenge the way this is set up. It's set up in a 5-day challenge where the drivers will be asked to complete simple tasks each day that relate to the 5 things that we mentioned earlier, being water, air, food, sleep, and exercise. It will be simple things. It won't be like exercise for 30 minutes or anything like that. I'm talking simple things like drink a bottle of water a day in place of a Coke, or practice having 1 extra fruit or 1 extra vegetable this week than you have been in previous weeks. They will have accountability for that each day. We're asking them to join our Driven to Be Healthy Facebook group, and that is where most of our primary communication will take place. We will be doing it daily those first 5 days. Hope I1 will be on daily live on that. Then whoever completes those first 5 days will be eligible to receive some prizes, smaller prizes. And that's where Road Pro will come in to offer some of those small prizes there. And then whoever completes that challenge will go on to the 30-day challenge, where each week we will focus on one of those 5 topics. A couple of weeks, those will be combined. They'll have some things that are combined.
Hey, Julie, I wanted to ask you how you guys will be using social media as part of this program.
At least weekly, if not more than weekly, doing Facebook Live videos with them. And at the end of those 30 days or those 4 weeks, then everyone who completes that will also receive some incentive prizes. And Road Pro is offering some of our big prizes there.
Kim, if you could, can you tell us a little bit more about the incentives that Road Pro will be offering through this program?
We're going to reward them back with certain things using our Road Pro Rewards platform, giving them incentives to earn points there. We're also going to be rewarding them with specific prizes, like from our Black Canyon Outfitters line. One of the important things that you'll often hear is drink water, don't drink soda, that type of thing. So we're giving them an option to get one of our travel mugs, for example, or growlers that they can fill up and make sure they're well hydrated. There's other prizes along the way that will speak to making sure they're preparing healthier options in their truck or healthier meals, offering up a prize from our 12-volt line of cooking appliances. Those are just some of the few items that we have planned, and they'll speak to some of the initiatives that are in place to help support those for them to get out, be healthier, make better choices.
Excellent. So we have some great products, incentives that are coming from Kim at Road Pro. Kim, tell us about the other programs. Tell us about your programs and initiatives that support drivers, and how do drivers get involved with Road Pro in general?
Well, there's two separate ways. The one way that we've created recently, which is a really great way to communicate to other drivers, and sure, they have other social media platforms, but one of the things that we've created is a community built specifically for the drivers themselves called Break Time. It's totally free to sign up, but they can communicate with other drivers. They can join the discussion groups. There's a lot of good incentives, games, initiatives, but they can also ask questions of their fellow drivers, find out how to maybe cook a meal on their truck and what other drivers are using. And this was a platform specifically created for them. We've had hopes on, of course, for a live session to answer questions one night, and we plan on moving forward to do that with other individuals. One of the things we'd like to do on the Break Time format is to also feature this new Driven to Health program, that we can actually have a live session where drivers can communicate with Julie and Hope, ask questions. How do I get involved? What's in it for me? What tips do they have? So hopefully we'll be planning that in the future during this campaign too. The other thing we specifically do is we have our Road Pro Rewards program where they can buy specific products or socialize with us and earn points, which they then can redeem for gift cards of their choice. So the Road Pro Rewards platform is another initiative that we had to support the drivers.
Kim, what do you like most about working with professional drivers and looking at what Road Pro does and your commitment to professional drivers? How does this program speak to that?
One thing that I found joining this company several years ago, I didn't know much about the trucking community. And I always say to my drivers that I speak to, years ago before I joined Road Pro, trucks were the thing that got in my way when I was driving down the road trying to go somewhere. Then I realized once I got into this company and this business, just what they mean to us. They are the ones that bring everything to us. Without them, we would have nothing, right? I think working for a company that realizes that, wants to support that, the drivers that I have met and the people along the way that are involved in this community are special, very special people. They would give anything to anybody and help anyone out. And I find them to be so giving and so concerned, and just a great group of people that they feel underappreciated a lot of time. And I feel like my job is to make sure they are appreciated and to make sure that we're doing things as a company to make sure they know how appreciated they are and how we know what they go through on a given day. This is not a job or profession for anyone, and I'm well aware of that. And so we continually strive at Road Pro to make their lives on the road easier. And that's kind of our mission, and our goal is to make sure we're providing things that speak to that and help them. It's been really a great journey here with Road Pro, and knowing that what their mission and their statement is, and how every day we're trying to strive to do programs and things that support them in their daily lives.
And when you look at this program that focuses on health, one of the things that gets overlooked, not by the group of folks that are here with us on this podcast, but overlooked in general, is just health. If we feel good or we feel decent on a day, we're getting by, but we're not looking at the big picture. And this program is talking about taking those small steps, feeling a little bit better about yourself, and getting yourself into a better position. So when you guys looked at this program and the impact it could have, it really speaks to something that needs to be addressed, correct?
Yes, that's correct. And it is driver health. And we've done many studies. We know that the statistics prove they're not one of the healthiest population. And if we can do anything to support or help the drivers take those steps towards better health, that's very important to us. They tend to, and I believe Shannon said it earlier on, come on, they spend hours behind a wheel sitting motionless or stationary. You look at some of the programs that St. Christopher has developed and some of the things with the health initiatives and working with people like Hope that create ways for them to have movement in the truck and to be healthier and to think about things in small chunks, not as being overwhelming. And that's what they bring to the table is, sure, there's a lot of programs out there and a lot of diets and a lot of things that you can do to exercise programs and things like that. But let's face it, the truckers don't have that opportunity. They don't end their day at 4:30, 5 o'clock and then hit the gym. That's just not a possibility with most of them. And the same thing with their options out there on the road, what there is to eat and what there is to have access to at the end of a long day when they stop for the night. The group recognizes that, St. Christopher recognizes that, Hope recognizes that, and this challenge is going to put into place some unique things that will not make it as overwhelming to the driver. They'll see that, hey, these little small steps can lead to greater things. And I think that's why it's important to support a program like that. And we're 100% behind it, for sure.
Kim, we thank you for joining us, not just in this particular challenge, the Driven to Be Healthy Going the Distance challenge, but thank you for joining us on both of our missions in general. It seems like Road Pro's mission and St. Christopher's missions really do line up with each other. So Road Pro is a valuable partner in what we do. For those of you that don't know Kim, if you get to meet her at any of the shows, if we have some shows next year, you're going to fall in love with her like the rest of us have. Kim is not just a corporate sponsor and a board member. I can speak for me and Hope and Julie, all of us. She's also a friend. And so it's a lot of fun to work alongside her. She makes the partnership fun and she offers us all the support that she has. And so thank you for partnering with us for this particular challenge and in pretty much everything we do. So we appreciate you, Kim.
Well, thank you for having me on today. And I appreciate you guys back at you as well, like everything you said. And we're more than happy to support it. I'm more than happy to support you guys in these initiatives because you guys are doing some great things.
You're listening to the Pod Wheels Network presentation of the Highway to Hope, the official podcast of the St. Christopher Truckers Relief Fund. The St. Christopher Truckers Relief Fund is a charity that helps over-the-road and regional truck drivers and their families when an illness or injury occurring within the last year has caused them to be out of work. SCF is also working to provide programs, including health and wellness initiatives, that are designed to benefit professional drivers and the trucking industry. If you are a professional truck driver or a family member of a driver who's in need of assistance following an illness or injury, please visit the organization's website at truckersfund.org. That's truckersfund.org. Over its history, the St. Christopher Truckers Relief Fund has raised more than $3 million through the generous support of donations by corporate sponsors, groups, and countless individuals who are part of the trucking community at large. As the country continues to deal with the COVID-19 national emergency, the need for assistance for professional drivers and their families has never been greater. SCF is continually working to grow its donor base, and you might be able to help in the effort to pay it forward through SCF. If you are interested in becoming a supporter of the work done by SCF, please visit truckersfund.org and click on the donate button. Visit truckersfund.org and consider making a donation today. Now let's go back to the Highway to Hope podcast on the Pod Wheels Network. Here's Shannon Currier, the Director of Philanthropy and Development for the St. Christopher Truckers Relief Fund, and Greg Thompson, the Executive Producer of the Pod Wheels Network.
We're back on the SCF Highway to Hope podcast. Greg Thompson alongside Shannon Currier. Thanks for making us part of your day. We're talking about wellness as July on the podcast is dedicated to wellness. And Shannon, we had a lot of great discussion in the first half of our podcast. And now we're going to get into some more particulars about your new programs and really the value of getting healthy out there on the road.
Yes, we're excited to be sharing about our health and wellness programs, things that we've had ongoing. We also want to share some additional details and thoughts on health and wellness with this new challenge that we have. Our overarching motto in St. Christopher Fund on our health and wellness side is driven to be healthy. We want everybody to strive to be healthier. We're not just talking to other people out there, other drivers out there. We're talking to ourselves too. I know I talk to myself every day about it. I've talked to Julie about it. I've talked to Hope about it. So there's been a lot of discussion about being healthier and just how small changes can impact our everyday health. So this particular challenge that will begin at the end of the month is called the Going the Distance Challenge, which obviously, if you listen to the name of it, we're not talking about we want you to do something for one day or we want to encourage you to make changes that are only going to last a week. We want to encourage changes that are going to last a lifetime.
And Shannon, what you just shared with us right there, that's really how you want to approach wellness. Can you remind our listeners who we have with us on this edition of the podcast?
Greg, we've got Julie Dillon and Hope Zavara back with us on the second half of the podcast. Julie, tell us what makes this challenge different from the other challenges SCF has done, but also how different it is from other challenges that have been out there in the industry.
In our prior challenges, we have had competitions where we've had people that are competing for prizes, and we've offered large prizes at the end of each health challenge. With this challenge that we're currently doing, partnering with Mother Trucker Yoga, we are having a completion challenge so that everyone who registers and participates and completes the challenge is a winner. They will win prizes and they will win good health. So that is one of the ways that this is different. The other way is we are not asking anyone to give a lot of things up. This is not going to be a challenge where we say stop eating meat or stop doing carbs or cut out the dairy or cut out all the sugar. We're not asking you to do all that. We're asking you to add in good things, make small changes that in your health habits that are going to promote a healthy lifestyle in the long run. And I'm sure that Hope can elaborate on that a little more and to go into that in more detail with us too.
Well, I'm happy to hear that it's small changes because, Julie, as you know, we work very closely together. If somebody were to look at me and say, you can never have pizza ever again in your life, that is just not going to be the health program for me. I'm just going to have a piece of pizza every now and then. Maybe I need to figure out how to make a little healthier pizza. And that's something that you can help me with there.
Well, I'd be happy to help you however I can, but I'm human too. And I have things that I love that I don't want to completely give up. The key is taking those things that you love and changing it up a little bit to where maybe it's not the best thing ever, but it's not the worst either. That's where I am still learning and growing and figuring out how to make those changes myself. And hopefully I can take some of what I've learned and pass it on to others.
And one of those challenges, Julie, is to take what you know from a health and wellness side and then apply it to the life of a driver, because the life of a driver is much different from many professions that are out there, as we talked about earlier in the podcast. And everyone knows when you are sitting in the seat of a truck for 8-10 hours a day, you don't have a lot of options to get out and exercise. Having to retool the thought process and the program around the life of a driver. Can you talk about that challenge?
Well, I think that is a huge challenge, and it's not one that I am personally able to relate to because I'm not a truck driver. I have the utmost respect for what they do and what they do for our country. What I can do is take what I have learned and change it up a little bit and make it work for anybody. No matter what you do, what your occupation is, you can still make some small changes and see big results. That is one of the reasons that I approached Hope, because she has spent a lot of time and energy researching this, and I knew that she would be able to be very beneficial in offering some suggestions with that.
Hope, one of the things that happens with anybody that's trying to make lifestyle changes is that we get so impatient about things, or we want results. What I like about this program is that it's talking about going the distance, and drivers understand how to go the distance, how to go mile by mile, and things build up, you get down the road. When you look at this program and you look at what's laid out, you guys are only asking folks to take small steps, but those small steps can make big impacts. For a lot of us, whether you're driving or not, when you look at health and wellness, it's like the climb up Mount Everest. You didn't get to where you are overnight, but it seems like a steep climb. So can you talk about all of that and the mental aspect of it?
Just to kind of re-summarize what you just said a little bit here for listeners, we're talking a little bit about this idea of the changes that we make and how they affect our mental health. One of the things that I've recognized being in the health and fitness industry for almost 20 years, truck driver or not, change is hard. What often happens with my experience, even in my own life, is this idea of all or nothing. It's like New Year's resolutions. I'm going to stop eating carbs. I'm going to exercise 7 days a week. I'm going to do all these things. And we do them for about 2 weeks, right? Maybe 2 days.
If that.
And it's all this all or nothing mentality. And then when we don't do it just perfectly, we go, well, I suck. I fail. Oh, well, I'm just not going to do anything at all. And it's a vicious cycle. And I believe the statistic is 8% of people continue with their New Year's resolutions. Now, I know it's not Christmas, it's not snowing, but this is a really important number because what it says is that people have a hard time with this idea of black or white. My approach in my own personal life and in working with hundreds and thousands of people, truck driver or not, is if we just say, okay, I'm going to make a small change, just one. I'm not going to take anything away, but I'm going to try to add something to my life. Mentally, we are a lot more willing. And what I mean by that is something happens in the brain when we say, you can't have that, and we hold on tighter. We actually say, oh no, scarcity kind of comes in and we go, I better hold on to this. I'm going to resist. But something different happens in the brain when we say, I'm going to add this in. There's a totally different response mentally when we add versus when we subtract. And the cool thing is what I've seen is when you start adding these healthy things in, like having a piece of fruit or waking up in the morning and drinking a glass of water. I think everybody, a lot of us, I shouldn't say everybody, but a lot of us struggle with drinking more water, whether it's our job that's keeping us from doing that or other reasons. Maybe you just don't like the taste. But what if in the morning, before your feet hit the ground, you take a glass of water and you drink it all down? This is what I do every single morning because I don't always like drinking water, but I know I feel better when I do. And so first thing I do is drink water. And I teach truck drivers this all the time. If before you even get out of bed, you down a bottle of water, by the time you have to leave the truck stop or wherever you're parked, you're going to have to go to the bathroom. So now you can't give me the excuse that there's nowhere to stop to go to the bathroom. So now you got 16 ounces of water down and your mental clarity is going to feel better. Your digestive system is going to be happier. You're going to be hydrated. There's just so many benefits to these small, simple changes.
As part of this outreach, do you guys counsel people on those positive benefits? Because what we're talking about here is a discipline, right? I'm going to add this. I'm going to drink more water, which doesn't sound like it's a big mountain to climb, and it's not, but it's just a discipline. But there's a lot of statistics out there about stopping smoking, right? If you quit for a day, it does this. If you quit for a week. In that vein, do you guys talk about when you add something like drinking water, as you just mentioned, mental clarity, all that, do you share that with folks that you're working with as you're working with them?
Great question. And this is something that Julie and I have spent the last couple of weeks talking a lot on, is how we want this challenge to look and feel. And that's why in the Facebook group, we're going to be coming on live every day. Her and I will be on together some days and then individually, and bringing not just education, because I believe knowledge is power. When we apply the knowledge correctly, that's how it becomes an asset to our life. And so instead of saying, do this bicep curl or do this exercise or drink more water, but if people understand the why behind it and possibly some methods to do better with it, now we can actually apply this to our life. And so that's what these daily Facebook Lives and the group are going to be doing, hosting conversational questions and really creating this an engagement opportunity for drivers. So instead of Julie and I talking at the people that are participating, we want to create a conversation with the people participating. And this is what makes us a little bit different. We're not just going to stand there and say, do this, this, and this. And if you don't do it, well, you failed. Better luck next time. This is really a collaborative effect because we truly do want truck drivers to succeed. You are the lifeline of America. We need you healthy. And if you're not healthy, the whole economy is in jeopardy. And so we want you to believe in your health and wellness as much as we do.
Julie, it sounds like you guys are building a community, right? A community of support. And what I wanted to do is have you review how the program is going to work. We talked about it in the first half of the podcast, but it's kind of a gradual thing. There are small challenges out there, again, very small. And if you stick with it for period of time, you will see the benefits and you will grow with the community. Can you walk us through the steps, and can you talk about the value of community?
Sure. The program is going to be broken down into two parts. The first part is the 5-day challenge. That is where we are basing it on those 5 needs of survival to thrive. Your food, your water, your air, exercise, those 5 elements that we're talking about there. With those elements, then it'd be 5 simple days. And we add little things in, like we were talking about earlier, drink a little more water. It'll be more specific than that. And at the end of those 5 days, if you've completed the small task that we've asked you to add into your life, like we talked about earlier, not taking anything away, adding some little things in, then you are eligible to participate in the larger month-long challenge. After those 5 days, you will receive some incentive prizes just for participating and completing the challenge. You're eligible to go on and be part of the 30-day challenge, which each week we will focus on one of those things that we mentioned in the short 5-day completion challenge. And we will just dig into that a little deeper. For example, if we're talking about the importance of water, then we would take that and focus on it for the week and what that looks like and the importance of it and adding to that. And it will be a progressive thing each week. You may start out in week 1 drinking 1 bottle, and in week 2 drinking more, and it just progresses along as we go. Everyone who completes that challenge will also be eligible to get incentive prizes. Some of them are some pretty big prizes, and we're excited to unveil all those and talk about that when that comes. What we're hoping to do here is to create this sense of community among drivers where they come in and they feel a part of things. They see what other drivers are doing. They get encouragement. They get support of other drivers and from us and other people. One of the things that I have seen from the Rigs Without Cigs program that we do, the Facebook group is instrumental in offering support to each other. Not only are they discussing what's going on to be able to stop smoking or dipping or chewing, whatever they're doing, we have drivers that are coming on talking about what's happening with their spouse when their spouse is in the hospital and just getting encouragement that way. And so we want to build this sense of community to not only get healthier physically, but also emotionally, that they're able to feel like a good sense of support and accountability and encouragement for each other.
So we're going to mention this again later on in the show, but we want to go ahead and share with our listeners who might be already wanting to participate. Julie, tell everybody how to register for this Going the Distance challenge.
You can register on either the St. Christopher Fund website or the Mother Trucker Yoga website. There will be a link on both of those sites that will take you to a registration form. You just fill it out. It should take less than 5 minutes or so. It's basically going to be questions where you can just click for the answer, not even a lot of typing out. You can do that on your phone or tablet, computer. And like I said, 5 minutes or so, it comes directly to us. We will send you out all the information that you need on the particulars and the details of the program. And after you register, you will also be able to go and join the Facebook group, which is the Driven to Be Healthy, Going the Distance. That's what it's going to be listed under in Facebook. And I can't stress how important it is enough to go ahead and join that as well. If you don't have Facebook, then you can just create something for that and delete it when the challenge is over if you'd like to. So you can go to truckersfund.org or mothertruckeryoga.com to register.
Perfect. So if you're already wanting to be a part of this, hop on over there and get registered at either of the websites.
Now, folks, we talked about this a little bit earlier and hope you spoke to it. The idea that making changes like these seems impossible, but can you talk about that a little bit more in the fact that we're adding something here and that it's not impossible and the benefits to adding something and getting over that feeling that it is impossible?
Well, in my experience in watching people adapt healthier lifestyles and helping them, but also my own journey towards health, I had a very self-destructive past of not taking care of myself. So I understand that struggle. And it really comes down to the mental struggle. Whoever joins this challenge, and even if you don't join this challenge and you're listening to this podcast, you first and foremost have to make a decision that you want to improve your health. If in joining this challenge, there's a part of you in your mind that says, yeah, this is never going to work. It's not going to work. Or if there's a part of you where it's like, that's impossible, it's too hard because I'm a truck driver, it's never going to work, and it's going to be hard whether or not you're a truck driver. But if we mentally can come to the place first and say, what do I have to lose? The opportunity to take better care of myself, to improve my health, to have more mobility, to not feel out of breath just stepping up into my truck, to be able to sleep through the night better, to have more mental clarity, to not feel that slump where our cortisol levels drop at 3 p.m. and be struggling until you have to park for the night. I mean, what do you have to lose? You really have everything to gain. I guess the real question is, if not now, then when? If not now, when are you going to take better care of your health? When you retire? Who knows when that day is coming for all of us, not just truck drivers, but why wait? I did that for years. I'm a recovering addict, and I always said tomorrow. Tomorrow, tomorrow, tomorrow. We aren't promised tomorrow, but what we do have is today. So even though the challenge hasn't started yet, what if today you mentally make that decision that you're going to do one good thing for yourself today? You are going to drink a bottle of water, even though you never drink any water. You are going to do a couple laps around your truck, even though there's not a walking trail available or there's not a gym available. You are going to find it and make it work. I have met countless truck drivers in the last almost 3 years with Mother Trucker Yoga, and I have seen drivers make it work. Why? Because they decided they wanted it enough. You hold the keys to that decision. I don't, Julie doesn't, Mother Trucker Yoga doesn't, St. Christopher's Fund doesn't, you do. But we are here to support you when you decide to make that decision.
There's a very old classic commercial, you can pay me now or pay me later. When you look at it, you're talking about taking a positive step, doing something like drinking water, making those small steps for big gains. But if you don't follow the light of taking positive change, and you're in a situation where your health is marginal, or you've got some weight issues, or anything like that, there's going to be a time when you're with a doctor and they're going to tell you, you have to take these things out of your life in order to live. When you go back and look at it, you had an opportunity to change things when you still had the power to change things and see something positive happen.
Yeah, I just want to encourage every driver listening that don't wait until it's at that place. Don't wait until someone else says you have to do this or else. Don't wait until it's do this or lose your job. Don't wait until your life is on the line. We have so much control over our own health and well-being, but yet we are constantly giving our power away to other people, other things, whatever it is that we're struggling with. Oh, it's hard for me because, oh, you don't know what it's like because, oh, it's a struggle because. I often find, and I can speak for my own self because I did that for years, and I've worked and helped people through this, and I know Julie can probably speak to this as well too, but sometimes we do that as a means to protect ourselves because all we know is struggle, because all we know is living in the body that's unhealthy. And what if this does work? What if this challenge does help you? What if coming into an opportunity like going the distance challenge gives you your life back? Sometimes in our minds, that's scary because we don't have control over that. We don't know what that's like. And I just want to reiterate the importance of having a group of like-minded people that are there for you and cheering you on and aren't judging you and aren't saying, oh, you just ate a carb today. Well, now it's all or nothing. And I think that's what happens a lot for people is they take on a diet and they take that on, or they take on an exercise program and they quote unquote mess up. And then they think, well, I threw it all away. Oh, well. But if we break it down into chunks and we chop it up and we add positive things to your life, I assure you that by adding positive things to your life in any element of health and wellness, you will, over time, I can't say how long of time, but over time, you will naturally want to stop doing the unhealthy things. I have seen it happen in hundreds and hundreds of people, and I believe you are one of those people. But you first have to get out of your own way.
You're listening to the SCF Highway to Hope podcast on the Pod Wheels Network. Thanks for making us a part of your day. If you would like to learn more about SCF or make a donation to help with the mission of SCF, please visit them on the web at truckersfund.org. That website again is truckersfund.org. Now let's return to this edition of the SCF Highway to Hope podcast.
Once again, folks, thanks for joining us today. We're back with our final segment on this edition of the SCF Highway to Hope podcast. And Shannon, you guys are making this fun with a challenge and building a community, and that is something that is invaluable.
It is. And Hope, listening to you, it reminds me of when we were on the road last year. Do you remember the driver, and it's stuck with me ever since, the driver that we talked to who came in to work out in the workout room, and he said, I am taking care of myself now because when I retire, I want to be healthy enough to travel with my wife, to go on adventures with my wife. I want to be around a while after I retire. That stuck with me as far as a driver mentality. He was not sitting back thinking he's going to be fine, because you can be unhealthy as a driver, and then when you retire, you're too sick to do anything else. Well, don't you want to enjoy the fruits of your labor? So his statement really stuck with me from us being out on the road last year.
Oh my gosh, yes. And do you remember he was going to be a chef? He wanted to cook for his wife because she was his queen. And I also want to note that this gentleman, it was like 9 or 10 in the morning sometime, and he was in his jeans and his work boots and a tucked in shirt. He didn't have workout clothes on. He came in and got a quick 10-minute workout in because he made the choice to do that. So I want to empower every driver that participates in this to help them see how many choices they actually have every single day to make a positive decision towards their health and well-being. When you walk into that truck stop, you have a choice to grab a bottle of water or not. When you walk into that truck stop, you have a choice to pick up a piece of fruit. I don't care what fruit. It all counts, people. Or not to. And you have a choice to decide that you're worth it or not.
He was only in there for 10 minutes, but what does that 10 minutes do? It wakes you up, it gets your circulation going, and it increases your metabolism, correct?
Absolutely. But even more than that, Shannon, it increases your serotonin and your endorphin levels in your brain. Those are key elements in your body if you want to ward off depression and anxiety and increase mood, because when you're feeling like, excuse my language, crap, you make crappy choices. When you feel good and you feel energized, you make positive choices. This goes back to the whole elements of the challenge and why we're breaking these down into chunks. And for any of you that have met me before, you know this is my whole philosophy towards health and fitness. When you walk a couple laps around your truck while you're filling up with fuel, or you do a couple stretches, or you do a couple things in the driver's seat, you are much more likely to make additional healthy choices when it also counts. It's about these building blocks that really lead towards lasting change, but it starts in the mind, and it's these simple little things like getting your heart rate up, oxygenating your body. Last time I checked, we can't live without oxygen. So are you breathing? A big element of our challenge is actually teaching you how to breathe and making it a part of this program that you take a few moments every day just to tune into your breathing so we can manage depression and get anxiety under control. Yes, you may be on medications, and we're not saying do not take them, but what if you could do more to help yourself?
Exactly. And I know you've both heard this when a driver says, well, I can't eat like you do, or I can't move like you do. And so I think sometimes people have a skewed impression of what somebody who appears to be healthy and making the positive, right decisions, what those decisions are every day. And I know from talking with Hope and Julie personally, and Julie just recently, as a matter of fact, she was talking about something I needed to eat. And I said, well, I bet you don't eat XYZ at all. And she said, that is so not true. So, Julie, what does being healthy look like to you? And I know everybody's different. Everybody has different things that work for them. But just overall, I don't want the drivers to look at you and to look at Hope and say, well, I bet they don't eat meat. And I bet they never have a soda, and which you probably don't. They probably drink nothing but water. I bet they do fill in the blank. Odds are, because I know both of you personally, odds are that's not true.
You are exactly correct. That is not true. First, let me say, after hearing Hope talk a little bit, can you see why I wanted her on my team for this health challenge?
Absolutely.
As far as what health looks like to me, health personally to me is saying, Lord willing, if I make it to 75 or 80 years old, barring something unforeseen happening, that I have my mental faculties about me and that I'm able to enjoy my life with my family. Health to me is more than just adding this and taking away this. In my personal journey, I didn't get started as early as Hope did. While I never was terrible in my eating habits, I've just never really been a big fan of sugar, and that's strictly just a personal thing. It wasn't due to a health thing. But I didn't get started until just a few years ago, and that was mainly because of what I saw with my parents. I have spent the last couple of years helping take care of my dad until he passed away, and his was a smoking-related illness. So that's the reason the Rigs Without Cigs program became so dear to my heart. Now my mom has Alzheimer's, and we're walking that road with her, and we're 4 years in now. She was once a very vibrant, self-confident woman, and that person is slowly fading away. For me, I want to start now, like that gentleman you were talking about, that driver in the truck stop. I want to start now taking care of my body and my mind so that when I'm her age, I'm all here and I can be all in for my family. And that's what health is to me.
Julie, both you and Hope have put some powerful messages out there for us to think about and to absorb. And when I hear them, I'm hearing two things. I'm hearing that if you make positive changes, you can have a quality of life, because that's what we want to do. We want to improve our quality of life. And we want to, as you guys both said, live long, productive lives and be like that driver that you guys met. Say, hey, I want to be able to go places with my wife when I retire. I want to have a future. We so often get caught up into, I'm dealing in the moment. I'll put it off until tomorrow. I'm okay. I can get by with that. This is such an important discussion. And the way you guys have structured this program, this challenge, small steps lead to big things.
Well, it is about small steps. I always use the example, a baby can't learn how to run before they learn how to walk. They can't learn to walk before they learn to crawl, and they can't learn to crawl before they learn to sit up. That's really how we can take positive steps towards our health. It's one day at a time. I'm a recovering addict, and I struggled with an eating disorder and alcohol and drugs for almost 15 years. I kept telling myself tomorrow I was going to get better, and tomorrow I was going to just magically be healed, and tomorrow I'm going to change my whole life. And what I realized is tomorrow never came. But when I had the support of other people going through what I was going through, and the support of people that knew how to guide me properly, what ended up happening was I broke it down into small pieces. And it was like, Hope, just focus on this hour that's right in front of you. Focus on this day that's right in front of you. Focus on this choice that's right in front of you. And that is exactly what we are trying to help drivers do with this challenge, is let's break it down. Let's uncomplicate it. This is not an all or nothing thing, like I said, and this is about you feeling successful, because when you feel successful, you make better choices. So when you go into the truck stop, what can you find that's healthy? Don't keep telling us that there isn't anything, because I know there is. I have been in dozens and dozens and dozens of truck stops and gas stations and travel centers, like I know you have, and you've been in more than I have, more than Julie has, more than Shannon has. I know that there are healthy options in there. We have to choose to see them and find them. They may not be the greatest options. There might not be as many as a grocery store, but I know that they're there. Here's something that I want to post to all you listening. When is the last time you went up to the manager and asked them, hey, I stop here a lot. Would you be able to carry that salad in a bag? Would you be able to carry freshly cut apple slices? Would you be able to bring in some other vegetable options? When is the last time you actually asked someone to help you make those decisions? You might be surprised at the type of movement that we can create beyond this challenge when we decide to be actively involved in those positive changes.
So being out on the road, just even for the couple of weeks that I was out there, we did see a lot of healthy choices available in the truck stops. I hope we know what the feedback is going to be on that. Those are not the cheapest options available. And we know that that's true. But we have to invest in our health now, or we're going to be investing in our unhealthy selves later. We're going to be forced to. Really making a conscious decision to say, I know that's going to cost me an extra 50 cents, or I know that's going to cost me an extra $1, but it's worth it because it's better for my health, is really the mindset that we need to be in, whether we're shopping at a truck stop or whether we're shopping at a grocery store.
Shannon, I want Julie to quick share something, because her and I were on a phone call on Monday and she shared something with me because she stopped at a truck stop. She was on a family vacation last week. And well, Julie, I'll have you share about what you told me about some of the things that you bought at the truck stop.
Last week, I was on vacation, which was wonderful. We stopped in a couple of different truck stops. I didn't want to do the same one twice because I wanted to see what all was out there. And I think that people probably thought I was a little bit crazy taking all the pictures that I took. But I was looking to see what it was and see if I could have a full meal to get the things I needed, being well-rounded in a truck stop. And in just one little place, we just stopped for gas and that sort of thing, which is one of the well-known ones out there. They had these little plastic containers, like a 16-ounce cup. One of them had assortment of vegetables, fresh vegetables. It had cauliflower and broccoli and tomatoes and things like that. And right beside of it, it had the same size, and it had 4 boiled eggs. The next one had several different kinds of fruit. There were strawberries and cantaloupe and things like that. So I started comparing prices. So I went, well, let me say, first I purchased those things and went up there, and it was all together, I think, like $7. You got all 3 of them, because they had them 2 for $5. Then I went to the local big box store here where I live and was comparing prices. And it was only, if you did the 2 for $5, it was actually cheaper to get it in that truck stop than it was to get it in the local big box store here. The cost was pretty equivalent. And yet I could get some protein, and they had nuts, and they even had grass-fed beef that you could get in the containers. So it's out there. You just have to look for it a little more. And it's not going to be a huge, giant selection like you might find in a grocery store, but it's there. And you can actually make a halfway decent meal, or whatever you want to call it, going down the road when you want to pick something up quick and you don't have time to either cook in your truck, or you don't have that extra time and you just need to grab something. There were some healthy choices in there. I wanted to be able to see if we could make it work. Now, that was only one time. So it's not an everyday thing for me, and I understand that, and I realize that, but it is out there.
You don't want that to be an everyday thing. Every time you stop, you're looking for things like that. You're looking to spend $7 to $10 every time you stop for what might be for a grown man, a smaller type, snacky type thing versus a full meal. So it does take preparation. It does take thinking ahead. What resources do I have in my truck that when I am stopped or when I am on home time, what options do I have available? So it does take some preparing too, making yourself a list. Where am I going to be? What's available there? What can I pop in and get that will get me through maybe the next several days?
I agree, Shannon. And I think we all can attest to this. And I can't wait for you guys to talk to some of the drivers about this as well. But I've seen some pretty amazing setups for drivers to cook on their truck. Equally as much, I've met drivers that bring a small grill with them wherever they go, and any opportunity they can, they're grilling out on the back of their truck. This comes back to make that mental choice that if you're going to join this challenge, you're going to be open to the idea to make some of these changes, because what do you have to lose?
We've covered a lot of ground, shared a lot of great information. Tell us again, Julie, we want to make sure that people know where to go to register for this new Driven to Be Healthy Going the Distance Challenge. Where do people go to register?
They can go to either mothertruckeryoga.com or St. Christopher Truckers Relief Fund, which is truckersfund.org. And there's a link on both of those to be able to register right on the website.
We hope you all that are listening will participate. Give it a try. What do you have to lose? It's not about a number on a scale. It's not about what size clothes you wear. It's about feeling better, moving more, making healthier choices, adding some positive things into your everyday life. So in the long run, this is going the distance. This is a marathon. So in the long run, you have a healthier life. By the time you retire and get out of that truck, you are still healthy enough to go knock off those things that are on your bucket list, or take your spouse on a trip, or go get on a boat if you want to, whatever it is you want to do when you get out of that truck. And that's what our team is here for, to support you in that road to health.
And Shannon, one of the great things about our July podcast is that Julie and Hope will be back with us for the second July Wellness podcast here on the Highway to Hope.
Yes, there is more to come. We are not finished with you all yet. So we have a second podcast coming out in a couple of weeks. We are going to invite in 2 drivers that have agreed to join the challenge. They're going to be ambassadors for this challenge. You're going to hear from Carmen Anderson and you're going to hear from Craig Daniels. They're joining this challenge. They're going to be ambassadors for this challenge. We're going to hear from them why they want to be a part of this, what changes they're going to make, and how they're going to encourage anyone else who's a part of this challenge as well.
Once again, thank you for listening to Highway to Hope on the Pod Wheels Network. The Highway to Hope is the official podcast of the St. Christopher Truckers Relief Fund. If you would like to learn more about SCF or would like to make a donation to SCF, please visit the organization's website at truckersfund.org. That's truckersfund.org. We'll have more new episodes of the Highway to Hope coming your way in the near future. The Pod Wheels Network is proud to produce the Highway to Hope podcast in collaboration with the St. Christopher Truckers Relief Fund. We'd like to hear from you, our listeners. Please send your questions, your comments, and your ideas for what you'd like to hear on the podcast to the following email address: info@podwheelsnetwork.com. That's info@podwheelsnetwork.com. The Pod Wheels Network would like to thank you for connecting with us today. You can stay up to date on the latest from the Pod Wheels Network by downloading the Pod Wheels app. It's available in the Apple Store and on Google Play. Just search Pod Wheels in either store and download the app. As we close out this edition of the Highway to Hope podcast, the St. Christopher Truckers Relief Fund and the Pod Wheels Network send our best for your continued safe travels out on the nation's highways. And as the country faces the COVID-19 national emergency, we would remind you that in addition to staying safe, you take the necessary steps to also stay healthy as you do the critical work of keeping the American supply chain moving.